Never before on this channel have I done a video to analyze a tweet. And so you can be sure that this is no ordinary tweet. Now we normally have plenty of controversial tweets in Kenya, yeah? But the tweet I'm talking about here, it is much more than controversial. Out of the blue, a man called Tony Gachoka comes up with a tweet, and I quote, "William D.P. Ruto, this our money stroke proceeds of corruption you're taking around the country. Beware, I'm keeping a record. Here, you removed 5 million in cash. Signed, Tony Gachoka." Now, Tony Gachoka is well known in political circles, especially those who have been analyzing politics as long as I have been, for a number of decades that goes back into the 90s. And the reason why this particular tweet attracted my attention, my immediate attention, is because Tony Gachoka is not just an ordinary political figure in Kenya. This man is not just an ordinary political commentator. For starters, Bwana Gachoka is one of the very few people that have got very close links to both His Excellency Raila Odinga and His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. And I mean very close links. Let me make the picture even more clearer. At the height of animosity, at the height of tensions between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, Tony Gachoka was one of the very few Kenyans who would walk to either camp, and either camp would trust him. Indeed, to be totally honest with you, I cannot think of any other single Kenyan from the house of Mumbi who would have been able to do this. But that is Tony Gachoka for you. And then out of the blue, from nowhere, he comes up with a tweet like this. What is happening here? Now I know what I'm about to say is controversial, and many will dispute it, but I believe it 100%. And it is this: despite what anybody may want to say about Bwana Tony Gachoka, despite his past and what you might want to drag in from his past, I know for certain, and I know for sure, that Bwana Gachoka is one of those Kenyans who really loves their country and is concerned, very concerned about its future. Huyu ni Mkenya damu, and let he who was not sinned throw the first stone. And I'm serious. Now, having said that, the suspicion amongst many will be that ametumwa. He has been sent to say this. And I can assure you that friends of William Ruto will be very quick to say this. And they'll also be very quick to say that he has been sent by the handshake team. I think I can just call them that. Now, my answer to that is I don't know. I have no evidence to prove that. But if we can ignore that and focus on the content, what he actually said, the truth is that it raises a fundamental question and a genuine question. What is the source of Deputy President William Ruto's huge and limited finances that is donating all over the country? Bila my feelings, can we answer this question straight? The Deputy President has always been quick to remind us that he's a hustler, to remind us of his humble beginnings, and that is good. And indeed it is commendable, because there are so many people who are quick to forget the humble beginnings. However, it still leaves the very nagging question: how did he make his money? And I want to remain very neutral in asking that question, because I have very many subscribers on this channel who are firm, diehard supporters of the Deputy President. And they have always accused me of hating him, of being against him. And so, today I choose to hold my horses, and I'll leave them to answer that question for me. Please, I'd like you to answer that question. Where is all this money coming from? And I'm not going to say anything more on that. I just leave it to you in the comments area to educate me. to tell me how this man made his money. Now, before I go, I want to leave you with a mind-boggling statistic that has just come out. A recent report estimates the amount of money held by Kenyans in offshore accounts to be, wait for this one, 15 trillion Kenya shillings. Now, just to bring this figure into perspective, because this is such a huge figure, many Kenyans will not be able to fully wrap their minds around it. This money is enough to run the Kenyan budget for 5 years. 5 years. And not only that, there'll be enough change left, wait for this one, to completely wipe out our debt, our current debt of 5.1 trillion. That debt with mostly the Chinese and others, that is crippling our economy, forcing taxes like the 8% VAT on fuel, and just making life a nightmare for Kenyans. Change from that 15 trillion held by Kenyans in offshore accounts, just change, not the whole amount, a fraction of it, would be enough to wipe out all our problems. And I need to emphasize this. In those 5 years where this 15 trillion will be running our economy, Kenyans can afford, the government can afford to give everybody a tax holiday. No VAT, no tax for 5 years. Wah. Now, of course, most of this money in offshore accounts is stolen money. Stolen from the Kenyan public. This is money embezzled from Kenyans. In fact, you can say this is our money. And you'd not be wrong. But currently, it's in offshore accounts in the names of very few individuals. Folks, I leave you to chew on that and to digest that. Although I'm very sure it is the kind of food that will give you indigestion. Yani, lazima utaendesha. And I'm sorry I can't translate that. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.